भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया।
नित्यं भागवत सेवया।
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 36. Srinavanti gayanti grananti abhikshanasha.
श्रीवन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अभीक्ष्णशा।
Smaranti nandanti devehi tam jana.
स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना।
Ta eva pashyanti achirena tavakam.
त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकम्।
Bhava pravaho paramam padambujam.
भव प्रभाहो परमं पदं भुजम्।
Srinavanti gayanti grananti abhikshnasha.
श्रीवन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अभीक्षणा।
Smaranti nandanti tavehi tam jana.
स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना।
Ta eva pashyanti achirena tavakam.
त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकम्।
Bhava pravaho paramam padambujam.
भव प्रभाहो परमं पदं भुजम्।
शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अभीक्षणा।
शृण्वन्ति
गायन्ति
गायन्ति
गृह्णन्ति
गृह्णन्ति
अभीक्ष्णशा.
अभीक्षणा।
स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना।
स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना।
त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकम्।
त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकम्।
भव प्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम्।
भव
भव प्रभाहो
परमं
परमं
पदाम्बुजम्.
पदं भुजम्।
Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Synonyms. Srinavanti, here.
Srinavanti, here.
Gayanti, chant.
Gayanti, chant.
Grunanti, take.
Grinanti, take.
Abhikshnasha, continuously.
Abhikshnasha, continuously.
Smaranti, remember.
Smaranti, remembered.
Nandanti, take pleasure.
Nandanti, take pleasure.
Tava, you are.
Tava,
you are.
Ihitam, activities.
Ihitam, activities.
Jana, people in general.
Jana, people in general.
They.
They.
Eva, certainly.
Eva, certainly.
Pashyanti, can see.
Pashyanti, can see.
Achirena, very soon.
Achirena, very soon.
Achirena, very soon.
Tavakam, you were.
Tavakam, your.
Bhava Pravaha, the current of rebirth.
Bhava Pravaha,
the
the
current
current of rebirth.
Aparamam, cessation.
Aparamam, cessation.
Pada Ambujam, lotus feet.
Pada Ambujam, lotus feet.
Translation, please repeat after me. O Krishna,
Oh
O
Krishna,
Krishna,
those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities
those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities,
your transcendental activities,
or take pleasure in others doing so,
or take pleasure in others doing so,
certainly see your lotus feet,
certainly see your lotus feet,
which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death.
which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Purport. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna cannot be seen by our present conditional vision. In order to see him, one has to change his present vision by developing a different condition of life, full of spontaneous love of Godhead. When Sri Krishna was personally present on the face of the globe, not everyone could see him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Materialists like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Shishupala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him unless we have the necessary vision. This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only, beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. The Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literatures which are generally heard, chanted, repeated, etc. by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord face to face. The reason is that the first item, Shravana, is very important. If hearing is from the right sources, it acts very quickly. Generally, people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualifications, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service, hearing from them becomes a sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired result, provided the hearing process is perfect. In the Bhagavatam, the activities of the Lord begin from his dealings with the Pandavas. There are many other pastimes of the Lord in connection with his dealings with the Asuras and others. And in the 10th canto, the sublime dealings with his conjugal associates, the Gopis, as well as with his married wives at Dwarka are mentioned. Since the Lord is absolute, there is no difference in the transcendental nature of each and every dealing of the Lord. But sometimes people in an unauthorized hearing process take more interest in hearing about his dealings with the gopis. Such an inclination indicates the lusty feelings of the hearer. So, a bona fide speaker of the dealings of the Lord never indulges in such hearings. One must hear about the Lord from the very beginning, as in the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scriptures. And that will help the hearer attain perfection by progressive development. One should not, therefore, consider that his dealings with the Pandavas are less important than his dealings with the gopis. We must always remember that the Lord is always situated, is always transcendental to all mundane attachment. In all the above mentioned dealings of the Lord, he is the hero in all circumstances, and hearing about him or about his devotees or combatants is conducive to spiritual life. It is said that the Vedas and the Puranas, etc., are all made to revive our lost relation with him. Hearing of all these scriptures is essential.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Mama Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangun Langaite Girimit Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatharinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swamin Iti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gorakata Dhamithaya Nagara Grama Tarini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadhe Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Hare Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangun Langai Tegiri Vatkrupatamam Mante Sri Gurundira Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Vishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So yesterday we have seen that Kunti Maharani was telling the Supreme Personality of Godhead Lord Krishna is descending in order to rejuvenate the Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Because the importance of this Shravananti, Gayanti, Grananti, Avikshnasha, Smaranti Nandanti, Tavehitam Jana, Ta Eva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam, Bhava Pravaho Paramam Padambujam. So Srila Prabhupada said, ISKCON devotees will see Krishna face to face. This is for sure because we are doing the Shravanam Kirtanam from the bona fide source. Srila Prabhupada has given such a bona fide source abundantly available, which was very rare to get, even for the demigods, what to speak of human being. But Srila Prabhupada has become so merciful that he made it available for everybody very easily, bona fide. So that does not necessarily mean that we will underestimate because it is abundantly available and we don't value them. That is very wrong. That is offense. So we must take full advantage of that. And he is enabled in such a way that every hearer becomes a chanter. That is the way Srila Prabhupada has created this particular ISKCON movement. Because as Sri Krishna is called Adokshaja, means one who cannot be seen by the blunt senses. Na bhavet grahyam indriyaha. He cannot be seen through the blunt senses. Such a personality, Krishna. So, but by the mercy of his devotees and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you can see that Krishna. Because the Supreme Lord cannot be seen. But in order to see him, you have to change the present vision. And what is that present vision? The present vision is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hrudayesha Vilokayanti Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Apply the eye ointment, which is love for Krishna, love of God. That is the qualification. With that particular vision, spontaneous devotional service through which you can see Krishna. You cannot simply see Krishna like you see the material things. You have to see Krishna through your spiritual vision. And the spiritual vision can be awakened only by performing devotional service under a bona fide spiritual master. So this is very, very important. So Krishna was personally present here on the face of the globe, but still not everyone was able to see him. Unless otherwise Krishna wants to reveal himself, it is not possible for anybody to see him because there is no process. But Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. So by performing devotional service, you can conquer Krishna. So that means one who cannot be Ajita, he is called Ajita, he cannot be conquered, but you can sail Ajita, Jita. You can conquer. How? Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. By unalloyed spontaneous love of Godhead, by performing Ahaituki platform, means without any checking, without any interruption, when you perform devotional service spontaneous, out of spontaneous love, then Krishna will reveal himself to you fully. And we can see Krishna face to face. So, like that. And Krishna otherwise is not possible to be seen. You may have so much of material assets, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, so many great personalities were there on the earth. Tishupala, Tandavakra. So, but they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. So what use the money, the worth of wealth, the opulence that they hold here, if they cannot appreciate the presence of the Lord as, wow, I'm able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Namam duskruti no mudha prapadyante nara adhama. So what is the use of such great material assets? They are nara adhama. They are lowest in the man. Why? Because they could not appreciate the presence of the Lord. So even the Lord is present before our eyes. It is not possible to see him unless he reveals it to us. And how does he reveal? He gives you the vision to see him. By that, he reveals. How does he gives you the vision to see him? He accepts your devotional service when performed under the bona fide guide that he has been sending. So in this way, he will reveal himself. So you get the necessary vision, which is a dadami buddhi yogam tam. So that intelligence to accept the bona fide authority and perform pure devotional service is also given by Krishna only, right? So only way to see Krishna or to get the vision to see Krishna is nothing but the process of devotional service. Okay, and the process of devotional service, we have seen 9 process of devotional service. So in this sloka, in the previous sloka also, we saw Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. So this is the devotional service. It begins with Shravanam. So when it begins with the Shravanam, you should hear about what to hear is the next question. Okay, I have to hear is my first process. But what should I hear? I should hear about Krishna or Vishnu, hearing about the Lord. How should I hear? From where should I hear? With a submissive attitude. Sraddho hridaya vrudyate yatra kirtabhihi susrushubhis tatkshinat. From whom should you hear? From the bona fide right souls, who is the bona fide spiritual master and his followers. Okay, so this is one of the most important point, that how to begin my hearing, from where I should hear and how should I hear and what I should hear. These 3 questions are answered by Srila Prabhupada, not just theoretically but practically, so that we are able to hear about Krishna from bona fide source. That is our fortunate. That is our fortune. So Bhagavad Gita is very popular because it is heard, chanted, repeated everywhere. But in spite of those repetition, they are experiencing that they are not able to see Lord face to face. Why they are not able to face the Lord face to face? Because they hear not from the right source. Because the right source were not available so easily for human being in this planet. How can they hear from right source? Unless otherwise you are given a right source, how can you hear from right source? So Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has sent his descendants in order to provide the right source available abundantly in every street, every nook and corner of village and town, on the surface of the earth, in all the continent, all the country. They made this available to the people. And still, if the people are not hearing, what will do? This is unfortunate. Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhakya. This is their unfortunate situation. So Shravana is very, very important, and that should be done from the right source. Then it will act very quickly, just like the difference between your tablet and injection. Injection works very quickly. So when you are hearing from the right source, it acts very quickly. But if you hear from unauthorized person, the unauthorized person, because he's very famous, he's a very big leader, he's a big orator, oh my God, 10 lakh people assembled to hear his lecture. All these things are not the criteria. All fools are anyway assembled everywhere. You can talk anywhere. But if you are not the bona fide person to give, then the persons who are hearing, whether it is 10 lakh or 1 lakh or 10% or 1%, they won't be benefited. They won't be benefited. Why? Because the unbona fide person is not performing devotional service. He don't follow the principles of devotional service. He doesn't hear from the bona fide source. So how can he become the bona fide source to speak? That is why Srila Prabhupada has created in such a very wonderful manner, that hearing from the bona fide source, and then you go out to preach, distribute books, then you become bona fide. So give a chance to other people to hear from bona fide source by traveling and preaching. So this is the beautiful environment Srila Prabhupada has established through ISKCON, and Guru Maharaj has expanded, so that this opportunity is there, not just for Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, but for each and everybody who heard from them can go and speak about what they heard. to the common people by giving a chance to the people everywhere for a bona fide hearing, because this bona fide hearing can only be provided by a bona fide person. So they are making bona fide persons all over the world so that people in general can hear from all of you and become benefited. So now comes Shravanam is over, right? In the Shravanam, if you want to do Shravanam, how can you do Shravanam unless otherwise one is not doing Kirtana? Somebody has to speak, and that somebody should be bona fide.
How
Then
can you
your
do
Shravanam
Kirtanam
is,
without Swaranam?
Huh?
How can you do Kirtanam without Sravanam? Mati solita. Continue.
No, I said Shravanam is the first one. Okay. First you have to hear. Okay, that is from the bona fide souls. Now the question comes that how will you hear unless otherwise there is a Kirtaniya, there is a bona fide souls. So from the bona fide souls, when you are hearing, the bona fide souls is doing Kirtana. So they are talking. Now the third question comes, what will you hear and what he will talk? Unless otherwise there are some activities, there is nothing to speak of. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead's activities, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So all transcendental activities of the Lord are spoken. That is called Kirtana. Those are spoken by the bona fide souls. And each and every bona fide souls is talking of Krishna. He has performed unlimited transcendental activities. Because he is performing eternally unlimited transcendental activities, the chanter who is bona fide can speak about the activities of the Lord. So it is very much recommended by Narad Muni to Srila Vyasadev to propagate the activities of the Lord. Holy name of the Lord is the Yuga. Keep chanting that. Keep hearing that. But what one should really preach, preaching means speaking the activities of the Lord that is received from the bona fide souls. This is called preaching. Then it will have its effect. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is full of activities of the Lord. In the very first canto we are. Here we are seeing the activities of the Lord, how he is dealing with Pandavas. You see, these are all the activities of the Lord. How he is dealing with Kunti, how he is dealing with Arjuna, how he is dealing with Yudhishthira, how he is dealing with Bhima. So we are seeing how he is dealing with Pandava. This is activity of the Lord. In this way, from the beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam till end is full of activities of the Lord. So from the bona fide souls, this bona fide Bhagavatam should be heard from another Bhagavata who always thinks of Krishna. Bhagavatam speaks nothing but Krishna. Bhagavata speaks nothing but Krishna. So that is why there is a book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata. And both the book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata is meant to propagate the activities of the Lord to the common people so that they can hear from the bona fide souls and revive their eternal constitutional consciousness that they have lost. They can re-establish their lost relationship with Krishna one-to-one. In this way, they can face the relationship is always done between two. So by hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam from a Bhagavata, you are able to establish the relationship. Means what? That means you are seeing Krishna face to face. That's all. So simple. So simple. Simply by hearing this Bhagavat activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the bona fide souls, you will be able to see Krishna face to face. Unlimited pastimes of Krishna are there. And we have to hear it from the beginning gradually as it is narrated in Srimad Bhagavatam and is narrated by the bona fide spiritual master and other bona fide devotees who are the followers of spiritual master. So not that directly we go to the 10th canto and start singing Gopika Gitam. Where it is written? When did Srila Prabhupada say that? So Prabhupada says, Bhagavatam says, everybody says, Lord Shiva says that study Bhagavatam from the beginning. Start looking at the Lord from the lotus feet. First and second canto is representing the lotus feet of the Lord. So you must start hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from canto 1. and gradually raised. 10th canto is the face of Krishna. So before that, when you see different limbs of Krishna, you would have completely be purified and established after giving up all the anarthas, unwanted bad habits. You would have been established out of love for Krishna in the spontaneous devotional service by the time you complete 9 cantos. And then the 10th canto makes real sense to you. Then you will take full advantage of that. This is the process of hearing and chanting about Krishna, which is established by Srila Prabhupada to be made available to one and all in the common people, irrespective of their qualification. So in all the languages of that they speak, it is available. Try Srila Prabhupada again, because he has given such a wonderful process. You know that in order to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, how people did what all they did. You can see Parikshit Maharaj we are witnessing here. He has given up his kingdom. He has given up his wonderful family, beloved wives, beloved children, wonderful citizen, ruling, respect, royal life, which is even cannot be compete with Indra. Such a royal destination, royal dynasty he belongs to, way high esteem, name, fame, glories, such a wonderful royal life he has to give up. And he has to come to the Ganges, the bank of the Ganges, await for a bona fide spiritual master, search for him, asking everybody what I should do. I am going to die in 7 days. Within 7 days, how to make my life successful? Oh, Rishis, so great Rishis and Munis, those who are assembled here, please let me know. And there are some Hatha yogis, there were some Ashtanga Siddhi yogis, there were some jnanis, there were some karmis. Everybody is telling, oh, no, in 7 days you cannot achieve anything. Maybe few asanas you can do. Maybe you can learn the breathing process. Maybe you can do some rituals, very strong rituals. Maybe you can learn about the scripture, learn about the karma, and get some knowledge. In this way, different rishis and munis were suggesting, but none of them said 7 days are enough possible. But fortunately, Krishna always sending the right spiritual master to a right seeker. Because Parikshit Maharaj was an excellently right seeker, he was sent the bona fide spiritual master. And Sukadeva Goswami said, what is this? 7 days is too much, yeah. Within one moment, you can become Krishna conscious. So this is bona fide spiritual master who can make impossible possible. In this way, Parikshit Maharaj, because of his sincerity, he has been sent to the bona fide spiritual master to hear about the Lord from the very beginning. So this is beautiful narration of this Srimad Bhagavatam. So we must hear from the bona fide from the beginning, not jumping into the Gopika Gitam or something of that sort. Prabhupada never told, if at all you are so eager to learn the activity of Krishna so much so that, then Prabhupada has given Krishna book. He doesn't mind you reading it. Okay. So he has written it for you to read that. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is always advisable start from Canto 1 and hear it very sincerely. Another beauty is that at that time, only for a sincere seeker, the sincere guru was available. Like Parikshit Maharaj had to give up all kind of comforts in his life, surrender unto Krishna, come to the bank of Ganges and in search of spiritual master. And he could find so many rishis and none of them to be his spiritual master. And when his search was so intense that Lord has sent him the spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. Similarly, even 500 years ago, the Shad Goswami, this our Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, has given up the very opulently royal life as a minister's prime minister and finance minister, advisor to the king. They gave up everything. Kaupina Kantasritao. Then they surrender unto Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then they happen to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. Just see the way Sraddho Hridaya Vrudyate Yatra Kritavi Susrusubhi Satkshana Dharma Projita Kaitavatra. Sabse first they gave up all kind of Kaitava Dharma, the so-called rituals, the so-called opulent life and everything. Dharma Projita Kaitava Atra Paramo. So then they were able to get a bona fide spiritual master and they heard this Bhagavatam. But because of costless and unlimited mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the Acharya Parampara after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the same bona fide spiritual master is made available to even unqualified, unscrupulous fools and rascals. They are made available. This is the unlimited mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without any discrimination, he has given the bona fide spiritual master to one and all to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam, to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He has given it very freely. Just see, it never happened in the past, in the history of this universe, in any other kalpa also. It never happens. It may not happen in the future. It's very rare, rarest of rares. No other incarnation, no other Acharya Parampara has given this particular opportunity that we also can hear Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. Ones those who are 100% pure only can hear the Bhagavatam. You should be the Parikshit Maharaj and the speaker should be Sukadeva Goswami. This is the etiquette of, excess Srimad Bhagavatam knowledge. So Shravanam and Kirtanam, those who are hearing also bona fide, those who are speaking is also bona fide. In this way, hearer will attain the perfection by progressive development because he is hearing from Canto 1 and following strictly the rules and regulations given by the spiritual master, chanting the holy name regularly, all these things. So we should not consider dealing with the Pandavas of Krishna less important than dealing with Prahlad Maharaj by Narsingadev, or dealing of Prithu Maharaj with his citizen, or dealing of Rishabhadev with his sons, or dealing of Krishna with gopis. So we should not consider this superior, this inferior. No, nothing is less important for a devotee as long as the Lord is performing his activities. Devotional service is devotional service, whether it is worshipping the Lord by doing arati to the Lord or cleaning the temple hall. It makes no difference. Devotional service is devotional service. Serving the devotees, everything is devotional service. So when it is coming to devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam are most important. And in the Shravanam Kirtanam, it is not that Shravanam of the activities of Pandavas, the dealing of Krishna with Pandavas is less important than dealings of Krishna with gopis. That is, one becomes Sakajya if they think like that. Because Krishna is impartial, 100% is reciprocating to all his devotees, be them Pandavas or Gopi. So this is very, very important. We must always remember that Krishna is transcendental to all kind of mundane attachment. And in any kind of dealing of Krishna, he is always the hero in every circumstances and situation, and hearing about him in any situation of him, any circumstances where he acts is as good as hearing the whatever supreme. So this is the devotional service. So the devotees are competent enough to provide this not knowledge, but a narration of pastimes, which are activities of the Lord, which will enable everyone gradually to become a pure devotee. And you can go to place and speak of what you heard from the bona fide spiritual master or bona fide souls. So hearing all these are not only essential, but also speaking this in turn is making you more dear to Krishna. And unless otherwise you become most dear to Krishna, how can you see him here? How can you see him? As a citizen of the country, you cannot see the president or prime minister directly one-to-one. You have to become very intimate to him. Then if you are an intimate friend or relative, president's son, president's wife, they can see him daily, They can see him daily. They can live with him. So similarly, Krishna has a personal, intimate relationship with us one by one. And you can see Krishna 24 hours, both day and night. What does that mean? That means you will live with Krishna if you revive the relationship between you and Krishna by constantly hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam from the bona fide souls from the beginning, gradually, with full faith. It will happen, 100% guarantee. This is the beauty of our Srimad Bhagavatam and our Acharya Parampara, ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki jai. So, Shantha, you want to add anything, or we go for question answer? Yes, please come. शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति अवीक्ष्णशा स्मरन्ति नन्दन्ति तवेहितं जना त एव पश्यन्ति अचिरेण तावकं भवप्रवाहो परमं पदाम्बुजम्.
Jai, wow. Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the previous verse we saw that Kunti Maharani is saying that maybe others say that you appeared for spreading Sravanam, Kirtanam, etc. One of the reasons where Krishna appears is to attract the conditioned souls. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Guru Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So one of the main reasons where Krishna appears is to attract the conditioned soul. Like you have the movie, okay, and there is a trailer. So you see the trailer, then you know, okay, wow, I need to watch this movie. Same way, Krishna from spiritual world, he is incarnating, and his beautiful activities are naturally liberating. A person, two things we saw. The previous verse, we saw that his Sravanam, Kirtanam, hearing about him, everything is liberating. It can remove one from the material clutches. But now in this verse, she is giving the cream. What is the cream? You see here, you will be surprised. Like, but continuously, Sravanti. Sravanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Abhikshana. So one who is hearing about you, Sravanti. Gayanti is one who sings about you or chants your name and also your glories. So what he does that continuously, take this process continuously, and then remembers also. Because once we hear and chant, naturally we'll remember only that. We hear and chant Sravanam, then Kirtanam. Then automatically the remembrance will be that only. So they will get, they are yielding pleasure, not by rules they are listening. They are listening by their voluntary free will, spontaneously. Your activities, Lord's activities. What they are hearing, what they are chanting, Lord's activities. Which the jana, the people in general, whatever they do, they certainly can see. What they can see, anybody who's doing this, what they will be seeing. When they will see. They can see. Very soon, Achirena. Very soon they will see. What? Tavakam Bhava Pravaha. Your lotus feet, means your Padambujam, your lotus feet, which can remove the current of rebirth. You can save from the currents of rebirth. Samsara Sahar. One can remove that particular Padambujam, that lotus feet, they will see. They will see that lotus feet, Krishna's lotus feet. Certainly see your lotus feet. Which means darshan of Krishna is guaranteed for the person. Not one who is behind Krishna, 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 Krishna. No. You should be behind Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam. That is the secret key of attracting the all-attractive Supreme Lord. So this devotional service process is called Krishna Akarshani. Krishna, the word means Akarshana iti Krishna. He can attract everyone, every living entity. But something attracts Krishna. Krishna Akarshani. What is that? The devotional service attracts Krishna. What is devotional service? Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Sparanam. With great desire and personal interest and by free will, one hears about Krishna. Not by law, rules and regulation. Prabhu, you need to do that. Otherwise, you won't do that. You won't get prasadam. If you don't attend Bhagavatam class, you won't get prasadam. And a person will go and sit in Bhagavatam class and sleep. What is the use? But by own free will, one should, by interest, great interest, one should do. So, Nandanti, take pleasure in your activities. So, this is very essential. So, when Sri Krishna was personally present, not everyone could see him as a supreme personality of Godhead. Like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, Sisupala, very highly qualified in material assets. You know that great person? You know that great person? Actually, the wealthy person is not an example for Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we say that I will use that rich person who is in Krishna consciousness. He is very, very rich. So I will show him as an example in order to preach Krishna consciousness. What do you mean by that? You mean that if you become Krishna conscious, you will become rich? Is that the promise? Is that the bait you are keeping to attract? No. Krishna is all attractive, even for animals, birds, insects, trees. Everything sing the glory of Krishna, even when Lord Chaitanya went in the Arikanta forest. Krishna consciousness individually is very attractive. You can introduce the process of Krishna consciousness. You need not introduce a very rich person in Krishna consciousness and create some video about him or put him in the presentation in a slide and show that you know who is there in ISKCON. This very rich man, the world's big man is there. So that is not an inspiration. That is not an inspiration to become Krishna conscious. But you can show Guru Maharaj. He is called Maharaj, King, Maharaj. Not just Raja, but Maharaja. But when you see, he doesn't possess anything. Akinchara Gochara. Personally, even he doesn't have a bank account. Even if you want to give a donation to Guru Maharaj, not to other Maharaj, I don't know. But to Guru Maharaj, you will write the check as ISKCON only. Even though it goes to his department, and so it is transparent system. Very transparent. Guru Maharaj is very careful as a senior most disciple of Prabhupada. He's very, very careful. There is no black spot coming because Guru Maharaj said even on this Radhashtami, in a white paper, there is a dhoti, if there is a black dot, it will be very clearly visible. So if there is a sannyasi and if even a small doubt will create calamity. So he's very careful. So here, materialist, and there may be some rich people. They are not the examples. Like if you go to the public and introduce them, the rich person is Krishna conscious, so you also become Krishna conscious. Means what? You can go and beg to that rich person. What richness has to do with Krishna consciousness? Where Kunti Maharani is telling that richness will bring proudness, humbly proud. They will become very proud. So they will start advising a senior most devotees and things like that. Who knows what? And the public, if you are attracting them by showing a rich person as an example, they may misunderstand. If I join ISKCON, either I can earn a lot of money, or I'll get association with big people so that I can get some money from them, no? Or I'll collect donation from public, or I will get money by the mercy of Krishna. Is this the purpose of Krishna consciousness? In the name of preaching, what nonsense are you doing? How preaching has to be done is very clearly mentioned in this purport. Materialistic like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, Jarasandha, and Sisupala were highly qualified personalities by acquisition of material assets. But they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. Simply Krishna, the name, means all attractive. And by default, whether a person understands, don't understand, all the people in this world, all of them are spirit souls. So it's Jiva by default. So the readily qualified soul is available to you. You just introduce the all-attractive person whom they are eternally connected with. Let them just touch the devotional service. Not the Lord. We see that many people directly go and say, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But mostly people engage the people in devotional service by showing lamp on Damodar month or making them chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. At least some 108 Guru Maharaj establishes beautiful Harina Mandap in many temples. The Harina Mandap is nothing but a very beautiful, innovative concept to make a non-chanter into a chanter. Amazing setup. Almost in many temples in South India, which is established by Guru Maharaj, this Harinama Mandapam is there. What is this Mandapam? Very simple. either a Garuda Deva, Tulasi is placed in front, placed in the center, and a 3 circumnavigation stones, means a small 1 feet by 1 feet stone is a position. 108 stones are positioned a little distance from each other in 3 circles. And anybody who gets in with the first stone in the outermost circle will step from one stone to another, one stone to another. He will finish 108. He would have circumnavigated Tulasi 3 times. At the same time, in every stone, they are asked to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra once. There will be a cards in which Hare Krishna Mahamantra is printed, and it will be given to the person who is entering that mandap. So they will take the card and they will enter into that stones, which are positioned on the floor. 108 stones which are positioned on the floor 1 feet by 1 feet, like a tiles in the house. And then the person will climb on the tile, and then he will chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One step is over. Now he will step on the second stone and stand there and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then again, like an elevator or an escalator. So he will be looking at the card, and it is like a very joyful experience. It's like a game. And a person who comes there, he feels very nice. It's a temple and there is a Tulasi. In India, they like, okay, circumnavigating Tulasi. Or whether they understand, don't understand, if they take it as a joyful process, even kids, they would like to do that with father and mother. I'll also. So the entire family, they carry the card in the hand, and it's such a beautiful sight that in their life, they have never chanted. And if we ask them to chant, they won't chant, or we have to make so much drama. We have to put PPT, we have to say that you will get money, you will get name, fame, glory, something, blabbering nonsense, and bring them how psychological manipulation. Nothing is required. Simply they come, they find it to be a joyful process. They see others doing. Whenever devotees we go also, we used to do that to inspire any newcomer, to make him understand. And it's open space, and he will naturally love to do it. In this way, casually their spiritual life is starting. Prabhupada said, if somebody chants 1 round in this lifetime, in the next life, they will start from 2nd round only. And even one Hare Krishna mantra, if you take Srimad Bhagavatam, first chapter, 14th verse, Vyasadeva is mentioning that even one unconsciously chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even once, Krishna's name, even once unconsciously, immediately he is liberated from the clutches of material birth and death. Immediately. You can unconsciously, carelessly chanting. Sometimes people say you have to sit and chant, you should hear all your 16 tones, you have to yield the best as much as possible from the holy name of Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is very liberating, even uttered once. But we are supposed to chant loudly, not softly, so that we also can deliver other people, other souls like insects or birds or other people like this. So Guru Maharaj set up this very simple system. And thousands of people, I know, like it's called Satakoti Nama. Like Koti Nama has been chanted in this. I still remember in Coimbatore, Janmashtami and all, there are like thousands and thousands of people will stand in the queue and they will chant from morning till night. That Harina Mandap will be filled. Even in ordinary days, people will come walking without taking bath. So they will feel hesitant to enter the temple. But still they will go into that mandapam, and they will, because in that card itself it will be written, there is no rules and regulations. So they will just get on top of that and they will just stand 108 and they'll go. Casually, Guru Maharaj made them chant 108 now, and he automated it in all temples. Sometimes there won't be any manpower to guard that place, but still in big poster or in a flex, Hare Krishna Mahamantra will be written, and they will just look at that mantra and they'll finish and go. They love doing it in this way, amazing way, amazing. This is a pure devotee, not show a very rich man. He is a very rich man and put a PPT or talk some psychological statements and manipulate others. No, psychological. And then you continue remaining a psychological guru because you started with that. What you market, you need to sell. And they will expect only that. And if you speak otherwise, they will leave, and you'll have a fear they will leave. So you cannot, it's like a constipation where you cannot speak about Krishna. What kind of devotional service is that, where you have a person in front of you and they are ready to listen to you, but you cannot speak about Krishna? Watch. What a devotional life is. Is that a devotional life? Pathetic. Pathetic life. So they were unable to appreciate the presence of the Lord. This is the unfortunate situation. Whether Krishna is present as a personality or he is present as a holy name, it is very unfortunate that you cannot present him to another person. Or if somebody is not able to realize or appreciate the presence of the Lord, not appreciate, and he is all attractive. Therefore, even though the Lord may be present before our eyes, it is not possible to see him. Even holy name is not different from Krishna. But even if he is present, we cannot, it's unfortunate him unless we have necessary vision. So what is that vision, necessary vision? This necessary qualification is developed by the process of devotional service only. Not any speculative presentation, speaking English in a very nice way, giving a bhashan, attracting thousands of people, showing a rich person in the slide. This is not the way. Beginning with hearing about the Lord from the right sources. Sravanam, starting from Sravanam, any devotional service is liberating. And one comes in touch with Krishna, he will naturally feel attachment. The Bhagavad Gita, but the original people who will approach Krishna is explained by Shastra, like any one of us. You just remember, did you see some rich person and then you became Krishna consciousness? No. If you are a genuine devotee, certainly you wouldn't have. But Chaturvida Bhajantena, maybe we had depression in our life, due to less money or health issues or sufferings, various sufferings, or a search of God, or asking about Krishna. In this way, the force in Krishna is maintained Chaturvida Bhajantena. We would have entered into Krishna consciousness in anyone, the inquisitive person, or a person who is suffering in the material world, or a person who is in need of money. In this way, some reason, but this is authorized reason. They are also called Mahatmas by Krishna. And Nectar of Devotion also calls them as Mahatma. That's a beginning. That's an authorized beginning. So the Bhagavad Gita is one of the popular literature which are generally heard, chanted, and repeated, etc., by the people in general. But in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced. So here the reader of the Bhagavad Gita is mentioned. Bhagavad Gita is one of the everybody, Bhagavad Gita, chanted, okay, let me chant and next. By the people but in spite of such hearing, etc., sometimes it is experienced that the performer of such devotional service does not see the Lord face to face, which actually means a genuine chanter, genuine hearer of Bhagavad Gita will see the Lord face to face. But sometimes they are not able to see. Especially the one too much of Bhagavad Gita, but has not seen the Lord face to face. The reason is that the first item, Sravanam, is very important. They don't hear from the right source. There's no hearing at all. Only the top leader, top speaker of Bhagavad Gita. That person only speaks Bhagavad Gita. He never hears Bhagavad Gita from especially bona fide sources, like senior devotees like Guru Maharaj, who's present in Mayapur. No hearing. You come to Mayapur, you don't hear from a person who established Mayapur not by his own free will, a 19-year-old sincere disciple of a sincere guru, taking guru's instruction, like how Prabhupada took the instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and alone went to US and nothing was there he established. If you can appreciate it, but you cannot appreciate the same 19-year-old young boy who doesn't know anything, simple, sincere, very sweet and innocent boy, but who is surrendered to his spiritual master on the order of spiritual master, came here. He is also from a super rich family, but he is not promoting Krishna consciousness, showing that I am from a rich family. He is directly presenting Krishna. He came here and he, in nothing was there in Mayapur. And he has established such a amazing environment where international community can come and reside. What to speak of tourism? Started with tourism. Beautiful guest houses, starting from very, very beginning, small hut you can get for 100 rupees. 2 or 4 people can stay. Per person, 25 rupees it's happening. From that accommodation, till you have a 5-star accommodation where a rich person is coming, he also is appreciated. Not that only for poor, not only for rich. No, no exemption. And you're getting prasadam, you're getting places, and you're getting continuous kirtan, chanting, and you're shown the holy places which was not aware. Prabhupada took the disciples only to Vrindavan. Navadvip Mandal Parikrama was started, and so many holy places of Lord Chaitanya was revealed. By the order of spiritual master, he did it. He didn't do it with his own accord. There are many great speakers and great orators who are doing on their own accord. There's no Prabhupada. Prabhupada never gave instruction to many of the disciples. There are some common instructions, but this is a specific instruction, and he has developed it. And you're coming to that holy place, and he's still there, he's still alive, still present, and he's giving a lecture, and you're missing it. What unfortunate is that? You cannot appreciate it. That is the most foolish activity in Krishna consciousness, because a non-devotee who's not getting Krishna consciousness is not so very unfortunate, because someday he may come across a pure devotee and he become fortunate. But if you become a devotee and he has taken up chanting and you have said that, okay, claiming yourself to be a devotee, but if you are missing these kind of hearing from the right source opportunities which can act very quickly, you are the most unfortunate. Most unfortunate person coming to Mayapur, especially to Mayapur. I live in Mayapur. I see that who's the most unfortunate? Not the non-devotees of the world, because someday they will come to understand the glory of Mayapur. They may walk in here. Someday the Guru Maharaj will go to their place and they will come to know about him. But the one who comes to Mayapur, and he is also devotee, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and speaking the glory of each of the holy places which was totally unknown before. And he is staying in a very comfortable accommodation, having a wonderful prasadam. How it is all arranged? Oh, automatically a Big Bang. Oh, Big Bang theory. Okay. There was a Big Bang, and then everything appeared. A genuine disciple. Why Prabhupada gets the glory is because he was a genuine disciple following his spiritual master's instruction. Otherwise, still he was like 60 years old, there was no glory. Only when he took up, in Jhansi, he opened a temple, nothing manifested there. Bhakti Bhavan, nothing manifested. He also had failure. It is not that Prabhupada from very beginning. No, the moment he started following his spiritual master's instruction, that moment onwards, all success was with him. Same way, Guru Maharaj also, Jayapataka Swami, he carried out the order of the spiritual master very sincerely. And then it was successful. And if we cannot appreciate it, we can say it is an envy. So Prabhupada, in the second purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, second purport, very first beginning, he is telling this Krishna consciousness movement is not for envious people. One cannot understand Krishna if he is envious. One cannot understand Bhagavatam also. Like there was a person called Devananda Pandit. And he's a great orator of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he resided even in Navadvip, Koladvip, Devananda Pandit. And so many people followed him. So many people attended. Great scholars became students of Srimad Bhagavatam. Many followers. This is before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. And his school was the greatest, most famous for Srimad Bhagavatam. And he narrates in such a nice voice and sings very sweetly, gives a very nice explanation for Srimad Bhagavatam. And everybody used to come and listen very nicely and very organized way. Everybody will come in queue. Everybody will sit in a proper way like that. There's no improper behavior, or there's not crowd pushing, nothing. Very nicely organized. So one time, Srivas Thakur and all are from the previous generation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srivas Thakur, he heard Devananda Pandit recites Bhagavatam very nicely. So he happened to go through that way. So that time he thought, oh my God, Devananda Pandit will be having class now. How the Srimad Bhagavatam is so narration about Krishna. So he's very, I'm here. So he goes and sits at the end of the class. But not very organized person. Simply goes and sits there. And then he hears the Bhagavatam. And Srivas Thakur naturally has a great devotion for the Supreme Lord. Of course, he's the incarnation of Narada Muni. And he's sitting there and he's just listening. And he is appreciating the Srimad Bhagavatam so much. Oh my God, my Krishna is so sweet. He is so amazing. He's so nice. Bhagavatam is so nice. Like this, he starts crying. And he's, Haribol, Haribol. He's very enthusiastic and very happy. Even if that person is a professional orator, they are called professional orator. They may not do for money, but they may do for name, fame, glory. And they think that in name, fame, glory, I will preach to somebody. Nothing will happen. Your name, fame, glory, consciousness only will spread to other person because you are not Krishna consciousness. Your name, fame, glory, conscious. A rascal can create many rascals. So then he cried. So all the students, they saw that there is some noise, Haribol. They are all very silently listening. Very organized, nice crowd, well-behaved crowd. There is somebody now not behaving very properly. He's showing his emotions. What is the sentiment? They get angry. So they said that, who is disturbing the class? Why is like saying Haribol and this and that and shouting? He didn't say Krishna, Krishna, Haribol. This is the general expression of a devotee, of a Gaudiya Vaishnava devotee. And a fool cannot understand who is a Bengali Gaudiya Vaishnava or whatever, or we are getting initiated in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, what Hare Krishna Mahamantra can bring, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers can emote, that a materialistic non-devotee cannot understand. And they may think it is to be a mental sentiment where Krishna cannot appear in the mind without Krishna's free will. Krishna is a supreme personality and he is Swarat. Swarat means he is fully independent. Without his own free will, he will not appear in the mind of a person. So if a person is seeing Krishna in his mind, he is not called sentimental. He is considered transcendental. The person who is thinking this to be sentimental is a mental. That is the mental. So then this Devananda Pandit was just looking what is happening. He didn't comment anything. He didn't do anything. But he was calm. Sometimes when a leader or a person who is guiding many crowd doesn't know how to react because he's not very well versed in the scriptures and he has not taken proper instruction from a spiritual master properly under the guidance he has not practiced, he don't know the answer for some situations. Such kind of leaders take to Mauna. They become calm. They don't act, they don't take sides, they won't tell that, don't do that, it's an aparadh, because they don't know which is aparadh, which is not aparadh. But they are the guide, they are sitting there as a teacher, it's a constipated teaching. Constipated leader doesn't know what to speak. So they smile, they crack a joke, they escape out of the scenario by keeping calm, keeping quiet. So the students were all telling what the Srivas Thakur is making, what is this man who is making, we'll throw him out. So Srivas Thakur, no, I'll not make, I want to hear Bhagavatam. But they were taking him and throwing him out of that place. But Devananda Pandit kept quiet. That is the greatest aparadh he created. Biggest aparadh. Continuously reciting Bhagavatam every single day. So he was thrown out of that Bhagavatam class. So Srivas Thakur felt very hurt in the heart. How unfortunate I'm not able to Bhagavatam. And he didn't consider it to be an offense. He felt himself to be very bad. Then because he was thrown out and closed the door, then he was feeling very bad and he just left the place. And later Lord Chaitanya appeared. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is walking via Kulia, he will not walk in the front of Devananda Pandit's house. When he is going that way, he will think, oh, Devananda is there. It's a professional reciter, offender of Bhagavatam. So he will go on the other road, take the other road. So it was considered a great offense by Lord Chaitanya. And later, when Lord Chaitanya took sannyas as a Nimai Pandita will not hear the Bhagavatam of Devananda Pandit, even though he was considered very famous. Nimai Pandit will take another road and go. He will never even enter, never even talk, never even look at Devananda Pandit. Who's Radha and Krishna himself? Radha and Krishna themselves are not ready to listen, which actually means, even though Bhagavatam is not different from Krishna, but a milk touched by a snake is poisonous. Same way, even if it is pure, it is touched by such kind of persons, is poisonous. And then Lord Chaitanya took sannyas and he went to Puri in South India. And later he came back and thousands of people were throbbing to see him in Kulia, Kola Dweeb. thousands of people were coming to see him. Before that, Devananda Pandit, one time he will see one devotee of Lord Chaitanya, Vrajeshwar Pandita, and he will be dancing in Kirtan. He can dance 48 hours continuous non-stop. 2 days, 24 hours, continuous non-stop he can dance. That is Vrajeshwar Pandit. Each one was a specialist. So this is a specialist. And people were assembled in a great crowd to see this wonderful dancing. So then everybody was pushing each other, and they were sometimes falling on Vrajeshwar Pandit, which was disturbing his chant, dancing a little bit, but he was in ecstasy. So Devananda Pandit entered there, and he saw how wonderful this Hare Krishna Mantra and dancing is. And he started controlling the crowd and avoided people from falling on top of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sorry, not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sorry, forgive me. Vrajeshwar Pandit. Then Vrajeshwar Pandit fainted at last. So Devananda Pandit fanned him, wiped this thing and gave some water and brought him to consciousness. So Vrajeshwar Pandit was so pleased with the activity of Devananda Pandit. So Devananda Pandit requested, please come and stay in my house, please, please. Then Vrajeshwar Pandit agreed, because he knows that he is a professional reciter, but he should be elevated, because I should give him some opportunity to go to Vaishnava Seva. So he went there, and Vrajeshwar Pandit served him nicely for some days, 1 week or something. And then Vrajeshwar Pandit left. So Devananda Pandit got some clarity. So when later Lord Chaitanya came, he also ran to see, which was not earlier. He was very proud person. He will never go. Everybody will come to him. So he went, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one word. One sentence. I am reciting Srimad Bhagavatam for many, many years and many, many students, but I didn't understand anything. I don't relish anything from it. I really don't know what is in Bhagavatam. I don't relish. Please bless me so that I will relish Bhagavatam. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you won't. Whatever we are reciting, that's not Bhagavatam only. Nobody, it's not qualified. Then he asked why. Then he said, because you committed aparadh to Srivas Thakur, where you considered his devotion to be sentimental. And your students were throwing him out of the class, and you didn't stop it. Nobody knows, only Srivas Thakur never told this to anybody. Devananda Pandit also never told this to anybody. And now he knows Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna. They never walk in front of my house also. He has come and he's telling. So he said, please forgive me. No, you have to ask forgiveness. If he forgives you, then there is possibility. So immediately Devananda Pandit ran to Srivas Thakur and fell at his feet and requested for forgiveness. And then Srivas Thakur said, no, I didn't take it as offense only. Please, I don't even remember. No, it's not like, no, please forgive me. Then Srivas Thakur forgave him. It's okay. Whatever you did, I don't know. I don't consider it as offense, but because then he came back, running back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and told, I asked forgiveness to Srivas Thakur and he gave me forgiveness. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed to him that Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to explain only in terms of devotional service. Don't talk it as a professional reciter. Explain the glory of devotional service only, not even as Krishna, because we don't know Krishna. What we can explain about Krishna? Or Vrindavan pastime or something. What do we know? But we can explain devotional service, Sravanam Kirtanam, how Yudhishthira and Krishna met and what was the conversation, how Kunti is expressing her prayers to Krishna, and what is the relationship between Kunti and Krishna, that she is looking from Nabi and then to the chest and then to the face and then to the lotus feet, like a motherly affection. In this way, how beautifully these relationships between Krishna and Panchapandavas are exhibited. And not in Mahabharata, you become angry on Panchapandavas. You become so pleased how this Panchapandavas were amazing devotees that Lord stayed with them. Always stayed with them. Even in the 14, when they were in the forest in exile, Krishna lived with them. He was not living in the Dwaraka in royal opulence. He was living with Panchapandavas and teaching them, talking various, Ekadasi Mahatmya and all of that. No, all those pastimes came during the exile only. Many, many stories like Krishna, somebody, Yudhishthira asked, what is the glory of Purushottam month? Then Krishna will tell to them what is the glory of Kartik month, and Krishna will tell. In this way, amazing company they have with Krishna, beautiful. And we can see many, many beautiful glories of many different days. We see that Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired, and Pandava Ekadashi, where Bhima is inquiring, how can I fast? Actually, it is applicable only for Bhima, not for us. But it is a fasting. So we should be very, very careful that we don't hear from unauthorized persons. The demigods and all, they have very big position, like we see here, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakshiga and all. Demigods are also devotees. But Brahma and Shiva are pure devotees. They will always chant about Krishna. And these people, they think what? They are not involving in the managerial affairs. They are not talking about top issues. In the big management level, there are big issues, and they are not discussing. Instead, they are sitting and discussing Krishna Katha. Like this. Why they are talking about like this? Why this all has to happen? How management is so very important, like this. So that big people, but great personalities are Brahma and Shiva. And they feel so much blissful when somebody calls them, you are a Krishna devotee. They don't like to be called by their positions. As a creator, as a destroyer, as the supreme Bhagavan, this, that, and all these devotees will glorify. They are not very pleased. They are not happy. But somebody calls them as Krishna devotee, they are very, very happy. They do this Ravanam, Kirtanam and all that. So generally people here, this is very general, people go and see. Where is the mass crowd? Generally people hear from unauthorized persons. Such unauthorized persons may be very learned by academic qualification. I am from IIT. Oh, that is I am a rich man. Okay. Either a richness will be shown or Ajnana will be shown as a qualification. Oh, this Prabhuji is from IIT. Come, let's all go and listen. Whatever he blabbers, I listen. Such unauthorized. But if you see Guru Maharaj, he's a dropout from college. Scottish. Even Prabhupada is a dropout from college. Prabhupada refused. He studied all the years in Scottish Church College. But he refused to take the degree because the protesting in Gandhi movement, he was there. And all the college students decided we will protest to get our degree. So they protested very ahimsa way by not taking the certificate of degree. So Prabhupada is not a degree holder. He is not an IITian. Such an unauthorized person may be very learned by academic qualification, but because they do not follow the principles of devotional service. So you may hear, okay, what is that principle of devotional service? Hearing from becoming, so hearing, chanting, that they didn't follow. What is devotional service? Devotional service starts with hearing, Baba. You have to hear first. We never see them hearing. We see them only speaking. If you see, there is some Bhakti channel, some Atma channel, so many channels are there, I don't know, whatever it is. And they keep speaking and speaking and speaking and speaking. The stage and crowds listens. But the one question is, where from that speaker is hearing? Where from he has heard? Nowhere. Sometimes I know people, they read. Sometimes I say, hey, why can't you attend Guru Maharaj class? No, Mataji, I'm not able to understand what he is speaking. If I can get the book, I will read. Some book, where from he is speaking? You give me that book, I will read. Means I want the information. I don't want the transformation. Knowledge I want from the book. What you will understand? By hearing, the transformation happens. So in Krishna consciousness, of course, we read Srila Prabhupada's books. It is like Prabhupada speaking to us. His purports are special. But otherwise, simply, I will read and I directly speak. But there is no hearing from one of his spiritual master, despite he is present. It is most unfortunate. Hearing from them, if you hear from such professional reciters who doesn't follow the principles of devotional service, then it's a waste of time, sheer waste of time. Sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purposes. Oh my God. So much of this is happening. This I call as psychological manipulation. Here Prabhupada is nicely mentioning that the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purpose. If you want you to get married, they will quote the sloka. And if you don't want them to get married and become a brahmachari, quote the same sloka. I'm so smart, I can do that. That's what they think. But Prabhupada says that sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purpose. So this is manipulation. Why it is not presented as it is. So when there is no as it is, they cannot be Acharya. The qualification of Acharya is non-interpretation. Without interpreting, giving as it is. This is the qualification of a teacher. So we should not hear from such a teacher who is manipulating. They will give so many purports which are not actually present only. From something, some other Samhita, some this Manu Samhita, something and all. Already Prabhupada has quoted what is essential. And already Prabhupada has translated from Sanskrit. You cannot take a Sanskrit word and give 100 meanings to it, apart from what Prabhupada has given, and give so many purports so that so many Indian people who are behind the Sanskrit will be behind you. So your own interest of creating followers. So fashionably, interpreting fashionably to suit their own purpose. So there is a own purpose. There is no institution. There is no senior devotees who are leaders, in charges, no reporting properly, nothing. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. This is what Prabhupada purports are saving us. How I know? I was an ordinary non-devotee and normal person, interested in sense gratification. Simple. But reading in our generation, especially in 1980s, 90s and all, we like reading. I don't know why. We have been so much pressure to read. So in college and school, we read only for exam and threw the book away. But when it came to Prabhupada books, it was so interesting. We voluntarily read. Nobody compelled us. Nobody told that you have a Bhakti Shastri degree. We didn't even know such thing existed. So reading Prabhupada purport will save us from all kind of calamities. We distribute books, but we don't read books. It's very bad, very pathetic. Because there are some people who are interpreting fashionably to suit their own purpose, where so much importance is given for book distribution. But that same importance should be given for book reading of Prabhupada. Prabhupada one day told, in Vrindavan, he was taking a Bhagavatam class. So he asked, where is such and such a devotee? Then they said that Prabhupada is doing service. What service? Ask him, where is he? Then he said, no, he's cleaning. He's cleaning some ashram or something. Then Prabhupada said that for cleaning, we can appoint somebody. But for hearing my Bhagavatam, I want my disciple. Ask him to come. Whom I am writing all these books day and night? For you, my disciples. Not for some Tom, Dick and Harry in the street. The Tom, Dick and Harry who is behind the money can be appointed in a Krishna temple in order to clean the floor, so that he will take some money and go. Finished, over. But hearing, reading Prabhupada's purport, who will do? The disciples, the followers, we have to do this reading of purport. So we will not get carried away by any bogus. So sometimes the texts are interpreted fashionably to suit their own purpose. Sometimes we see it's so pathetic. The affection between Lord Krishna and us should be pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service. Now, I see that Krishna is removed. And they say, go and preach that you should have a selfless love with others. With all other people, you should have selfless love. You want for all for yourself. Having is not happiness. Giving is bliss. Giving to whom? To Krishna? No, giving to others. Come, let us avoid Krishna. Let us take all the philosophies and we'll apply among each other. And I will do unalloyed devotion to you. And you do unalloyed devotion to me. And this is Vaishnava Seva, whatever nonsense. But Krishna is totally missing. The Krishna conscious subject matter is taken and it is thrown in the street in order to promote their own purpose. So it's so dangerous. The world is completely dangerous. We should purely take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and the previous acharyas to protect us from this great danger and calamity and hold on to our spiritual master's lotus feet, especially a pure devotee who's openly, we can see him just judged by the purports. Therefore, first one should select a competent and bona fide speaker and then hear from him. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes become automatically perfect in that way. That is why we are not seeing Krishna face to face, because we have all these anarthas. So here somebody goes directly into the 10th canto with the gopis and all these. So that is not, everything is absolute. So even hearing from Pandavas, they are not less important. His dealings with the Pandavas is not less important than dealing with the gopis. So the Pandavas, so much Mahabharata story is told, and some youngsters, they are getting angry on the Pancha Pandavas that why they did like that to Draupadi, because Krishna decided so. They are able instruments in the hand of Krishna. A devotee will do anything. And Draupadi underwent that as a service to Krishna. Because Krishna wants to eradicate unnecessary elements from this earth. That is mentioned in Krishna book, the first chapter itself, that the Bhuma Devi is taking the form of a cow and going and praying, my dear Lord Krishna, I want the unnecessary military strength from me to be removed. I'm feeling bharam. I'm feeling very uneasy because sinful people have come, and moreover, they are increasing the military strength. So Krishna is telling, I will appear. And all the Yadus go and appear. And then Krishna appears. And all his pure devotees appear along with him. And Pancha Pandavas played their role of why he did it, why he did it, why Saguni did like that, why he did like that. What Mahabharata nonsense you're doing in the name of Bhagavad Gita. These are all unbona fide preachings. We should be very, very careful about the milk being touched by poisonous snakes. That is very important. We must always remember that the Lord is always transcendental to all mundane attachments. And even his devotees are beyond the mundane attachments. Arjuna is Ramananda Raya. And we see that Ramananda Raya is Vishaka Sakhi. And how you can analyze the character of Arjuna in your material mundane ideas, foolish ideas, neophyte ideas, totally neophyte, foolish, psychological, mental interpretation of Krishna consciousness, which is transcendental to mundane plane. So, Krishna is hero in all circumstances, either in Vrindavan or with Bhishma or Pancha Pandavas or with Draupadi. Hearing about his devotees and him, especially in Navadvip, especially if you hear about his associates, amazing. It's conducive to spiritual life, like Srivas Thakur, Murari Gupta, Vasudev Datta. So many associates we can hear about. We want devotee association, no? Take these association by hearing. Association comes by hearing and chanting about their glories, and then Smaranam will come, and they are absolute personalities, and they will appear, and you can see them face to face, and you will have association with such personalities. It is very much possible. With Krishna, you can see face to face and take association, not only when you die. In Jeevan itself, many people became Mukta. Madhavendra Puri saw Krishna. Many of them had personal association with Krishna, well proven. So, we have all the scriptures are created in order to revive the relationship with Krishna, not with parental guidance. I will give parental relationship among each other, this, that, and all. You know, use the transcendental Vedic scriptures, transcendental absolute purpose of Prabhupada in order to fulfill your own fashionable personal desire. It is made to revive the lost relationship with Krishna, not among each other. Hearing all of these scriptures is very, very essential. So, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Prabhupada's books are the only saviors. His purports have to be read very carefully. This is very essential. Guru Maharaj is again and again advising us to read do the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, and Bhakti Vedanta. And whatever is the academic, it's not academic. Here, academic education is not very essential, even though it can take us through a particular process. But Prabhupada wanted us to write exam. We should be confident enough to write exam anytime without undergoing any academic course. That much we should be clear about Prabhupada's teachings and philosophies, which are directly given without any interpretation. So we should read by our own free will. We should read all the books. At the same time, we should be bold enough to give exams in Krishna consciousness. And the exam also should not be academic, where a neophyte devotee will mug up and he will pass. And a senior devotee who has understood the Krishna conscious subject matter very clearly. What is this Sanskrit word? What is the meaning of this Sanskrit word? If you give such like that, then only a mug up person who's a neophyte will mug up that questions and answers, and he will come and repeat. But instead, a genuine devotee who has relished Srila Prabhupada books and understood the philosophy properly will be able to get the degree. That is the proper examination of Krishna consciousness. So Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta is very, very essential, and genuinely going through the books, whether academically it is covered or not, is essential for the devotees. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. There is one question, who are called Sahajiyas? Kindly explain.
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
हाँ, एक
Hare Krishna, ma'am.
प्रश्न आया है प्रभु जी. प्रभु जी एक प्रश्न आया है, उसके बाद आपको सुनेंगे.
Yes, ma'am.
सहजिया मने कौन? सहजिया, who's सहजिया? The Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives an explanation of Sahajiyas, and he is also listing 14 different types of Sahajiyas, and there are sub branches of them also. Sahajiya, very simple explanation is the one, Krishna and his internal potency and all those things are transcendental. A Sahajiya is nobody but the one who's living in the mundane material body in the conditions consciousness and thinking either Krishna or the devotional service is also mundane, is also material. A material interpretation to spiritual. This is Sahajiya. Some examples, I will tell you the worst case examples. One is like they in Vrindavan, when you go to some temple, you will see somebody wearing a sari and doing arati. And you will think, okay, who is that? Mataji is doing arati. But when he turns back, it will be a man. Because he thinks I am in the Gopi Bhav. I worship Radha and Krishna. They will do worship, they will do chanting, they will do everything. But they will be wearing a sari and thinking I am a Gopi. Imitating that spiritual things in material plane. For example, Rupa Goswami is a Manjari, but we never know. We never know. He behaved as a Pakka Gaudiya Vaishnava. He never exhibited any Baba, anything of a Gopi, even though they were in the Gopi Baba. Same way, take Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is actually Radha Krishna themselves, Kadadhar Pandit Radharani himself. But he never exhibited. So how he walked, how he talked, he morning got up and did his chanting, attended aratis, danced in front of the Lord. Maximum spoke about Krishna and Krishna consciousness and various philosophies and Krishna Katha. So many Bhagavatam discussion with Gadadhar Pandit and everything. And they lived such a sweet life, like what life we are living at present. The same life they lived. But they didn't exhibit all those. So some people say that, okay, bringing Krishna to a mundane plane is called Sahajiya. Or bringing devotional service to a mundane plane and exhibiting like what happened in the spiritual world, like it is happening in the material world, in the material world. Imitating, especially imitating pure devotees also are Sahajiya. Sahaja means very casual or ordinary. Sahaja means. Sahajiya means one who takes Krishna or spiritual world or Krishna conscious practice to be very ordinary, mundane, ordinary activity. Very casually, very sahaja. They consider Krishna consciousness and Krishna to be very ordinary. Goloka Vrindavan to be very ordinary. One time, me and Prabhu went to Vrindavan and we were taking bath in Yamuna river. There was no water in the initial places. So we went a little more in a boat and the boat fellow said that I'll come after half an hour. There was a small sand in between. Then very little water, maybe 3 feet or 2 feet, not even 2 feet. Water was there. We have to offer obeisances in order to take bath. So very clear, beautiful water, but we offered obeisances and we were taking. At the time when Babaji, he came there. He was roaming around and said, oh, what did he say? The Mata jeet gaya. What is that? Prabhu har gaya. Oh, Prabhu har gaya. Mata. And he thought we both. And we are coming there and we are doing, nobody is there and we are taking bath. Thought this is Sahajiya. Prabhupada told and we identify as Sahajiya then and there. We are conditioned nonsense. Absolute nonsense we both are. And we were a little young also that time. We were absolute nonsense with complete material contamination of lust, greed, envy, and anger, and Jada Sarira with Mala Mutra and everything. And we went to Vrindavan just to purify ourselves and chant Hare Krishna and get something we don't know what we wanted to get there. We were interested, but this fool, but he is very advanced. When we see him, he has all that Kamandala and everything. We say, oh, Mata har gaya, jeet gaya. Now, Prabhu har gaya, Mata jeet gaya, and he's laughing. Then we were like, hey, idhar se guys, how to escape from here? Like this, oh my God. Then the boat fellow came and then we escaped from him. Oh, this is very dangerous. They consider very casually the Supreme Lord, somebody, oh, Krishna appeared. This is my Radha. They dress their baby as when Radhashtami Day, one person sent me a photo. I felt so painful in the heart. They dress their baby with Mala, Mutra and everything. A Pinda has come. And that is out of their karma that has come. It may become a devotee, may not become a devotee. But anyway, dressing them as Radha, this is my Radha. How they can be Radha? It can be Radha's servant, Radharani's servant, by playing Mridanga and Karatal, Prabhupada said. Radharani is already there. And you bring Radharani to such a cheap state.
And there's no process to be done.
And there is no process to become Radha. So this is taking very cheaply Krishna consciousness is called Sahajiya. Okay, Prabhu. Sunil Prabhu has some question also. Vrajeshwar Prabhu, you answer. Sorry. Sunil Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Boliye.
Krishna, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Pranams, boliye.
Ma'am, I am reading this. Please listen carefully. भगवत गीता ऐसा लोकप्रिय ग्रंथ है जिसे सामान्य लोग सुनते, गाते तथा बारंबार पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा अनुभव होता है कि ऐसी भक्ति संपन्न करने वाला व्यक्ति भगवान का साक्षात दर्शन नहीं कर पाता। इसका कारण यह है कि श्रवण नामक पहली विधि अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। यदि श्रवण सही स्रोत से किया जाए तो इसका प्रभाव तुरंत पड़ता है। तो माय क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाट इज द राइट सोर्स ऑफ हियरिंग? श्रवण का सही स्रोत क्या है?
बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा आपने। ये सही सोर्स है आचार्य परंपरा, शुद्ध भक्ता। पहले है
उनसे नियुक्त किया हुआ भक्ता,
and उनसे नियुक्त किया हुआ भक्ता। हिंदी में वाचन करो, हिंदी में प्रचार करो।
राइट सोर्स मैंने सही मार्ग में जो आपको सही मार्ग दर्शा सकें, जैसे कि आचार्य परंपरा हुआ, गुरु महाराज और गुरु महाराज से नियुक्त किए गए जो भक्त हैं, जो गुरु महाराज की प्रचार सेवा में लगे हुए हैं, उनके आदेश के अनुसार, उनके अनुसरण के साथ जो प्रचार करते हैं, वो सब जो है राइट सोर्स होते हैं।
राधा अष्टमी के दिन मैं मंदिर में गया था यहाँ पर, तो वहाँ कृष्ण कृपा दास भागवतम का 10वां श्लोक पढ़ रहे थे, बता रहे थे, तो उनसे सुनना ठीक रहेगा?
इस्कॉन के अंदर जब भी कोई भी भागवतम क्लास चलता है मंदिर के अंदर, उसको सुनना ठीक है। इस्कॉन मंदिर के अंदर जब भागवत क्लास चलता हो, उसे सुनना ठीक रहता है हमेशा।
वो लोग गुरु परंपरा में आते हैं।
हाँ, दीक्षा लिया है गुरु परंपरा से,
वो नियुक्त किया गया है भागवत पढ़ने के लिए, इसलिए उनसे हम सुन सकते हैं, वो राइट सोर्स होते हैं।
हर दिन मंदिर में भागवतम भगवत गीता होता है, वो सब सुन सकते हैं। किंतु
हर आचार्य का एक अपना मूड होता है, एक सेवा का भाव होता है। वो भाव दूसरे आचार्य का शिष्य गण के द्वारा नहीं मिल पाते हैं। इसलिए जहां तक कोशिश ये होना चाहिए कि हमारे गुरु महाराज का लेक्चर डायरेक्ट अगर सुनने के लिए मौका मिले और उनका शिष्यगण जो उनका मूड को जो समझता है, उनके द्वारा जब हम सुनेंगे तो हमारा भाव भी उसी तरह रहेगा, जहां हम नित्य वास में भी गुरु महाराज से मिल सकेंगे, उनके संग रह सकेंगे। यदि हमारा भाव फिसल जाता है तो हम भक्ति में अवश्य रहेंगे, हम भगवान के पास अवश्य जाएंगे, हम भक्ति में लगे रहेंगे, किंतु हमारा यही गुरु और हमारा सदस्य जो गुरु महाराज के जो सदस्य वो उनसे मिलेंगे या नहीं मिलेंगे, इसका कोई गारंटी नहीं रहता।
इसमें बोला है ये भगवान को मुंह के मुंह दर्शन कर सकते हैं, है ना, मुख दर्शन फेस टू फेस अदेना हिंदी में
फेस टू फेस, मुख दर्शन,
मुख दर्शन कर सकते हैं, भगवत गीता
आप
सुनने
उनसे
में
मिल सकते हैं,
मिल सकते हैं,
उनको देख सकते हैं।
वो शक्ति शुद्ध भक्ति से सुनने से आता है। बाकी हम सुनेंगे इधर उधर, वो इधर उधर नहीं सुनना है, सिर्फ इस्कॉन मंदिर के अंदर वो व्यासासन में बैठा है, फिर वो भागवत पाठ देता है, वो सुन सकते हैं। उसमें हमको इतना शक्ति, शुद्ध भक्ति का शक्ति नहीं आया तो भी किसी वक्त हमको कुछ ना कुछ
उससे
मिलेगा,
कोई नुकसान नहीं होता, वो आपको सही रास्ते में अवश्य ले जाएगा,
अवश्य ले जाएगा,
क्योंकि आपका
सही रास्ता
अंदर
है।
का, हमारे अंदर की जो श्रद्धो हृदय वृद्धियते यत्र कृतव्य, हमारे अंदर किस भाव में हम बैठे, उसी के अनुसार कृष्ण भगवान जो है आपको स्पीकर देगा।
हाँ, तो इसीलिए आप कुछ चिंतन नहीं करना है। हम इस्कॉन मंदिर में आप किसी भाषण वो व्यासासन में देता है,
वो
आप सुन सकते हैं,
वो सब ऑथराइज्ड राइट सोर्स होता है,
वो करेक्ट सोर्स है। बाहर कुछ आया, बाहर कुछ करता है, टीवी में आता है, बहुत प्रसिद्ध है, ये सब हम सोचना पड़ेगा, कौन है, क्या बोलता है। इस्कॉन के अंदर आपको कुछ डर नहीं है।
श्रवण विधि के बारे में दिया है, जब श्रवण विधि पूर्ण तथा पक्की हो जाती है तो अन्य विधियां स्वतः ही पूरी हो जाती है, इसलिए उसका सोर्स जानना तो बहुत जरूरी है। ठीक, धन्यवाद।
श्रवण जब परिपूर्ण रूप से हो जाता है तो बाकी जो कीर्तन, स्मरण, अर्चन, वंदन, सख्या, दास्या, आत्मनिवेदन सब कुछ अपने आप अपने अपने जगह पे बैठ जाते हैं। ये श्रवण का एकमात्र विशेष गुण है, क्योंकि भक्ति योग श्रवण से शुरू होता है, और वो श्रवण अगर सही मार्ग से मिल जाए, सही आचार्य से मिल जाए, तो उससे बड़ा खुशनसीब भाग्यवान तो कोई हो ही नहीं सकता है। और उस श्रवण को वो किस तरह लेना चाहिए, श्रद्धो हृदय विद्यते अत्र, यानी बिल्कुल उसको हिंदी में क्या सरलता से लेना है, बड़ा हम्बलनेस को क्या बोलते हैं, और सबमिसिवनेस होना चाहिए, सबमिसिव एंड फेथ, फुल फेथ, श्रद्धा, फुल फेथ के साथ हम राइट सोल से यदि हम श्रवण करेंगे तो बाकी जो 8 प्रकार का भक्ति योग है वो अपने आप हमारे अंदर समा जाता है। फिर हम सारे 9 प्रकार का भक्ति योग को अभ्यास कर सकेंगे, भक्त संघ में रह करके, इस्कॉन संघ में रह करके।
श्रवण अगर सही स्रोत से किया जाए तो इसका प्रभाव तुरंत पड़ता है,
तुरंत पड़ता है,
वेरी क्विकली।
हाँ, इसका मतलब ये है कि जैसे कोई एल्युमिनियम का बहुत बड़ा प्लेट आपके पास मिला है, उस प्लेट का एक कॉर्नर के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा प्लेट, मान लो मेरे को 24 से 24 फीट का एक बहुत बड़ा स्क्वायर एल्युमिनियम प्लेट है, वहां पर आप एक सिरा में आप एक कॉर्नर पे उस चले जाओ, दूसरी कॉर्नर पे मैं हूं, और उस कॉर्नर पे आप इलेक्ट्रिक वायर को टच करेंगे तो दूसरी कॉर्नर पे एकदम करंट मारेगा, एकदम। इस तरह ये प्रभाव पड़ता है अगर सही श्रवण होते तो, एकदम वेरी क्विकली असर पड़ता है।
सही स्रोत होना चाहिए।
हाँ, सुनने वाला भी और भागवत सुनाने वाला दोनों शुद्ध हृदय के साथ, परमो निर्मत्सराणाम सताम, 100% प्योर हार्ट में होना चाहिए, तब आप देखेंगे तो प्रभाव एकदम पड़ता है, जैसे पेट्रोल में आग लगती है।
बहुत अच्छा, धन्यवाद प्रभु,
धन्यवाद। So anybody else has any questions or comments or realization more? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much for your association. So we'll join back again sharp 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, congregation chanting the holy name of the Lord, followed by Srimad Bhagavatam class. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय
पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय
पतित पावन श्रील गुरु महाराज की जय।
जय
भागवत सत्संग की जय।
जय
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।